Hello and welcome to the Christmas episode of NIMASA this week. I hope you had a wonderful time celebrating Christmas. Let us wish you a happy Christmas on behalf of the staff of NIMASA and of course the crew of NIMASA this week. Well, on the program, this episode is going to feature a focus on one of the great highlights of 2019 in the Nigerian maritime industry, and that is the Deep Blue Project. We're going to be telling you what makes that project tick and the things that are happening to boost it and so that it will be a great success in the coming year. We also have in our interview segment when we spoke to the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council. We had a wonderful confabulation with him, Barrister Hassan Bello. These are many more coming up on the Christmas episode of NIMASA this week. Welcome.
I wish all our stakeholders Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance, and say to you, remember the reason for the season. If it is not safe, please don't do it. And say to you, it's going to be your best year ever, a year of limitless opportunities, a year that you live to remember for what you will accomplish, especially in the maritime sector. Merry Christmas again and Happy New Year.
All right, welcome. Let's start the program with the Deep Blue Project, which is all about enhancing safety and security on the Nigerian maritime domain. Now, this project involves the deployment of special mission vessels to complement the land-based intelligence units. Now, the other component of the Deep Blue Project is also the Maritime Intervention Unit, which involves men and officers from the military. Now, their training is so crucial to the success of the Deep Blue Project, and we witnessed the graduation of these wonderful men and officers of the Nigerian military. And that is pointers to the fact that they are ready for the task ahead. The C4I Integrated Surveillance Systems Operation Training is part of the human capacity building towards the Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, which is a federal government initiative aimed at ensuring comprehensive Nigerian maritime domain surveillance and security. These officers and men were trained on combat-related courses ranging from physical training, sharpshooting techniques, and ability to use the arm from a range, bare hands fighting in open terrain, built-up areas, and in the bush. Speaking at the graduation ceremony held at the military base in Elele in Rivers State, the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, who was represented by the agency's Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Mr. Gambo Ahmed, noted that the capacity development component of the Deep Blue Project is on course as the agency prepares to receive the land and maritime infrastructure component of the project.
This project is geared towards building a formidable intervention and security architecture that will comprehensively and effectively combat maritime crimes and criminalities in the nation's maritime domain up to the Gulf of Guinea. The maritime sector, like in any other nation, is critical to Nigeria's economic development. Hence, the current administration decided to holistically and proactively deal with the security issues, as it is costly to allow insecurity to rob the nation of the opportunity to harness its vast maritime potentials for economic growth.
He used the opportunity to assure Nigerians that the project jointly implemented by the Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Defense will greatly curb criminality in the Nigerian maritime domain.
With this officer's graduation today, our vision of creating the critical force for intervention, which is expected to work closely with the Command and Control Center to effectively police the Nigerian maritime domain, is becoming a reality.
298 surveillance officers graduated from the basic training course for the implementation of the Deep Blue project. 110 officers and men of the Nigerian Army and the remaining 198 officers that make this up are men of the Nigerian Navy. With this basic training concluded, the officers will proceed on the advanced training in September 2019, which is expected to last for 8 months. Present at the event were Commander 16th Brigade of the Nigerian Army Brigadier General V. Okoro, who represented the Chief of Army Staff, and Commander Pathfinder Base of the Nigerian Navy Commodore S.J. Bura, who represented the Chief of Naval Staff, and the Maritime Guard Commander NIMASA Commodore Ibok.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are NIMASA. New face, rejuvenated service. NIMASA. Changing the tides in your favor.
All right, we've seen that the intervention unit is ready and their efforts will be complemented by the deployment of well-trained officers who will be deployed, of course, in the special mission vessels or at the Command and Control C4I Center in Lagos. Well, we experienced the graduation of 16 of these officers, and we now know that they are ready to tackle the Deep Blue project. The graduation of these officers is considered another major step in achieving the goal of implementing the Deep Blue project, also known as Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure. Some of these graduating officers will be deployed on the special mission vessels, which the chairman of the project monitoring team for the project, Mrs. Olu Mustafa, announced that NIMASA has already received the first of many.
Key assets of the project are being received, and the various manufacturers, with the latest being the arrival of the first special mission vessel last Friday. More are expected in the coming days and weeks. The assets of the Deep Blue project must be manned by competent personnel, and that is what we are committed to through various training programs for different components of the project. Today's graduation of the C4I system operators will produce additional personnel required for the optimization of the entire C4I system, which will be installed in both the special mission aircraft and the special mission vessels for effective communication with the C4I Center.
The Command Control Computer Communication and Intelligence C4I Center, located at the NIMASA-owned Nigerian Maritime Resource Development Center NMRDC, Kirikiri, acts as the nerve center for operations and workflow management for all platforms under the Deep Blue project. The graduation of the C4I operators marks another milestone towards the total commencement of the project. Mustafa, who is also the director, Project Services at the Ministry of Defense, said the essence of the training for the intelligence officers was to ensure adequate capacity to man the assets under the Deep Blue project, especially with commencement of the receipt of the special assets.
The Command and Control Communication, Computer and Intelligence System is at the center of the Deep Blue project. With the dynamics and complexities of both contemporary and emerging threats in the maritime domain, we cannot renege on our resorts to sophisticated and comprehensive approach in combating the present and emerging threats. Once again, I welcome everyone to this graduation ceremony and wish you, the graduating officers, the best in your services to the nation through this project.
In his remarks, the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, who was represented by the agency's Executive Director Operations, Engineer Rotimi Fashaki, lamented the negative effects of insecurity in the Nigerian maritime domain and the Gulf of Guinea. He noted that the President Muhammadu Buhari administration was committed to diversifying the economy and saw maritime as an economic game changer in this direction.
I wish to therefore commend the graduating officers for their diligence in going through the rigorous modules of this training program. I also commend the project monitoring team, the instructors, the facilitators, and the NIMASA team for their unwavering commitment to this project. I challenge you, the graduating officers, to be professional, patriotic, diligent, and proactive in the discharge of your duties. You are on a national assignment and should do all it requires to assist the federal government achieve the set objectives of the Deep Blue project. Distinguished guests, I wish to inform you that the various components of this project are gradually being put in place. With these officers added to the Deep Blue project workforce, coupled with the several milestones so far achieved, I am excited to note that our vision of a stable Nigerian maritime domain is becoming a reality.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of certificates to the graduating officers, and Ibrahim Ghana emerged the best graduating student.
I am truly honored to be part of C4I operational training. On behalf of the graduates and my humble self, I will say a big thank you. And I would like to acknowledge the effort of our instructors, Mr. Ariel and Mr. Tamara, for putting us through.
The C4I Center was commissioned in August this year. It is equipped with alert setting capabilities, coastal automatic identification system AIS, and SAT AIS signals all over the world in liaison with some of the international security networks for access to database for vessel movement, with capacity for 6-year retrospective monitoring of vessels' movement.
We intend to intensify effort, deepen what we're doing, generate momentum, sustain momentum, and indeed ultimately for us, it's only when our waters are safe and secure that we can optimize the benefits of seaborne trade and the blue economy.
The Gulf of Guinea serves as key navigational routes for international commerce, connecting the Far East to countries at the north and south of the Atlantic. Let's join hands to manage and secure our waters.
My message to Nigerians is for them to come together and resolve to make this country great. Nigeria is a very vibrant country with vast economic resources, and we need all of us to come together to make it as it is, as we have dreamed of. We think Nigerians should shun corruptions, Nigeria should do everything to expand the economy, and Nigeria should be part of the security architecture of this country. And once we do that, we are going to have a country and the economy that works for all of us. I wish Nigerians Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous New Year.
We're now docking at our interview segment. We had a recent chit-chat with the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Barrister Hassan Bello. It was pertinent of us to find out what he thought about the achievements of the Nigerian maritime industry in the year 2019, and of course, have a feel of his prognosis into the year 2020. What does it hold for us? What are we going to achieve? And what are the plans? Are we going to raise the bar? All these and many more during our chit-chat with Barrister Hassan Bello.
Nigerian Shippers Council, I think the achievement for that period has been stability in the cost of shipping. We have always tried to say that shipping or transport cost should be reasonably priced. And hitherto, we used to have, prices, or tariffs coming up now and then without any authority, without any approval. But I think this stability has made many people to plan. It is important we get the tariffs reasonably priced because, first of all, distorted tariff system is a disadvantage because we're in competition with other ports that have stable costs, if you like. So what we have been able to do is to say there will not be any arbitral increase in price or in the cost of the tariffs until it is negotiated with Nigerian Shippers Council. So we have been able to, first of all, look at the operators. Operators, we are talking about those who offer their services. We tell them, don't increase price until you negotiate with us. We have also been able to talk to the government. We talked to NIMASA, Nigerian Ports Authority, NIWA, and the Nigerian Railway Corporation that don't, review your tariff until you speak with us. Because one tariff will have repercussion on the cost. So I think this has been very good. It translates into acceptability of Shippers Council as the economic regulator. This has been stamped, and I think it's not all that rosy because here and then you have either a threat of increase or actual increase itself. But we have been able to keep it as reasonable as possible. 2020 to 2021 is the arrival of maritime as an economic saver of the country, if you like. A lot of things are going to be achieved in 2020, 2021. I'm extremely optimistic. The industry is extremely optimistic. Let me just give you an example of the deep water port in Lekki. It's going to be a game changer. Okay, we are going to have a seaport that has an advantage of draft. It can accommodate larger ships. It has potential of employing about 170,000 people. It is well located within the free zone, and that means, Nigeria has started the journey of becoming a hub. If we had more emphasis on the Lekki seaport rather than very expensive and tired Apapa and Tinkan ports, then you will see a lot of things happen. Bigger ships will come to Nigeria, more goods will come. Now, Nigeria has the tendency of being a load center or distribution center to other countries. And I think that it's really something to look forward to. There will also be the connection to the port, which is the access to the port, which I think is going to be by rail, by road, waterways, pipelines, and so on. So I think we are going to, leave outside all what's happening in Lekki and, in Tinkan, and the Apapa port, and, open a new vista in the Lekki deep seaport.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are NIMASA, New Face, Rejuvenated Service. NIMASA, changing the tides in your favor.
I wish all our stakeholders Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance, and say to you, remember the reason for the season. If it is not safe, please don't do it. And say to you, it's going to be your best year ever, a year of limitless opportunities, a year that you live to remember for what you will accomplish, especially in the maritime sector. Merry Christmas again and Happy New Year.
All right, so we have come to the end of 2019. And we're about to swing into another phase, 2020. We want to say thank you enormously to everybody who played a part in the development of the Nigerian maritime industry for the year 2019. It's not been easy. The NIMASA management has been trying to bring new innovations with a bold new emphasis. And we are happy that we are getting there. The horizon is in sight. So all we have to do is walk into 2020 majestically and tackle all other hopes and achievements that we need to, because it's going to be a wonderful year. Now, speaking about wonderful, is a thing about the Industry Stakeholders Awards night. It's going to be fantastic. If I take you through memory lane, I will remember the great performances, the attendance of great people. The Emir of Kano was in attendance, and we had the who is who in the upper echelon of power in government, in the Nigerian maritime industry, attending. It was all smiles, camaraderie, and a convivial atmosphere for everybody to behold. Now, this year, or this in 2020, it will be no exception, because everybody's going to come together with the same passion, just to see if we can reward people in the Nigerian maritime industry that have boosted the industry, that have taken it to another level. So it's going to take place, it's coming, and you have to go to our website to find out how you can get an invitation card. After all, it is strictly by invitation. But if the invitation doesn't reach you, have no fear. NIMASA This Week is here. We'll be here to give you a blow-by-blow account of everything that happened on that wonderful night of maritime stars. So that'll do it for today. Thank you very much for watching NIMASA This Week and always being part of the program throughout this year. So the next episode will be in 2020. Until then, I want to say I wish you a wonderful, happy new year. And we know that 2020, you will fulfill all you have ever dreamed of. Thank you for watching NIMASA This Week. See you in 2020.
Fire, fire. I said she fire, fire. Hallelujah.